Hey, hi everyone. I hope you're back. So let's have a quick look at this entire agent stuff, what we are trying to solve, and I'll also try to make you understand this whole use case. So see, many a time, many companies have different distribution centers. For example, someone who's selling D2C, direct to customer brands, right? Or maybe there are some large manufacturing units which has, or companies which has multiple manufacturing units or multiple supply this or distribution hubs, right? Now, at every state or at every part of the country, they can have one distribution hub or a distribution facility. And they would want like how we can optimize on the shipping cost, on the whole transportation part, as well as how to maximize the profitability on every delivery, or whether we are even competitive enough while we are trying to compete with any local vendor which has the local presence there, right? So these are a couple of challenges, and obviously, with every single distribution, with every single fulfillment, it has multiple things to do. Like packaging is there, processing is there, transportation is there, the time delivery is also there. How fast, how quickly you can deliver things to the end customer, right? So the whole problem become a little more complex and more comprehensive for any human to handle, right? And that too, imagine if let's say I have warehouse in Delhi, New Delhi, for example, and if I had to fulfill some quantity to let's say Kanpur or Lucknow or somewhere else into Delhi, NCR, Noida or something like this, it's very easy for you if the whole quantity has to be shipped by the particular center, by the particular distribution hub. But imagine if it goes beyond that. If I have to pick quantities from two different warehouses or two different points, maybe one from let's say Delhi, second from Mumbai, and they had to meet somewhere in middle at Haryana or somewhere, let's say where I have to deliver these things, then the whole cost or the whole calculation challenge become more and more complex, right? So what we could do, we can build a good AI agent which analyze this entire distribution problem, which run through multiple, let's say, centers, check out how much quantity they have for every single product, whether order can be fulfilled or not. It can do the complete cost analysis, the warehouse level complexity analysis. It can also figure out how much time it is going to take in terms of the road transport or what the transport medium is there to reach a goods from one center to other center or to the distribution center towards the end customer site, right? And that can be done using some Google APIs. So if you know, if let's say for example you have to calculate some distance, you simply go on maps google.com. You can say distance between Delhi and Mumbai, right? Delhi to Mumbai, for example. The same thing we can do using APIs as well, and it can give us all the information which we find over here. So see what we have, a few things. If you look at this, it says total distance is 1413 kilometers. If you go by air, it's going to take this much time. If you go by, let's say, road, it's going to take this much time. So 17 hours from Delhi to Mumbai by train. If I say I'm going by a car or something, by a truck transport or something like that, it may tell me, okay, it's going to take 25 hours, total 1400 plus kilometers over here, right? So this thing can be achieved from Google Maps APIs as well. And that's what we're going to discuss and we're going to use into today's use case as well. Now, in terms of decision making, first of all, I could apply some rules. For example, let's say I have to fulfill 10,000 units of particular product for someone in Ahmedabad, right? One of the city in Gujarat. Now, that goods can come from Mumbai or it can come from Delhi as well, or it can come from Chennai or Kolkata. The best preference should be the lowest distance and the lowest fulfillment cost as well. That is one thing. Second is I may have some sort of order processing cost from each of these centers. So maybe, for example, Delhi and Mumbai doesn't have enough quantity to fulfill this requirement. Do I have to call Chennai guys as well to fulfill this? But they may have a fixed cost to process each of these orders. So should I go with that or not? Or should I involve the third fulfillment center or not? Fourth fulfillment centers or not? Right? So those kind of distance calculation, time calculation, profitability calculation, all those has to be done, and AI is supposed to make some decision whether this order should be fulfilled, yes or no, right? Then further down, multiple data point has to be interacted. So for example, either we can have a centralized hub, kind of a ERP, which has understanding about all of these different locations and their respective stock availability, or maybe for a kind of distributed model, these centers may have their own tools, their own ways of tracking data into the system. So maybe some center is using Google Sheet, someone would be using Monday.com, someone else is using Airtable, just for example, right? So in those cases also we have to connect with multiple tools, multiple data structures. Else, we can have a centralized single data structure, which is hosted somewhere into a ERP, into a database, or into some sort of, let's say, sheets and something like this. So data architecture is supposed to be in a right manner. That is first. Second is how we or what kind of data we supposed to have to build this entire solution. So the first thing is we should have some data about warehouses. Where is this warehouse? What is their latitude, longitude? Like what is the address of this website, warehouse, right? And whether this warehouse is currently fulfilling any quantities, yes or no. Second is we should have some sort of inventory tracking under each warehouse because one warehouse can contain multiple products. So let's say product one, or let's say warehouse one has product A, B, C, D, right? Warehouse two has only product B and D. Warehouse C like three has product A only, and so on, right? So these inventories, first of all, exist, does not exist, which warehouse they are located, in how much quantity, what is their available stock, what is the unit price per SKU, or let's say per particular item unit, and so on. Then further down, in case if you're trying to fulfill an order, as I said earlier, this order fulfillment itself can have some sort of cost. Imagine order has to be processed by a clerk. So clerk has to spend maybe 1 or 2 hours of time to process each of the order at every single warehouse. So how much that clerk has indirect cost on this? Second is there can be some packaging cost. So you have some sort of a unit boxes. Maybe one box can contain 500 unit or maybe 100 units. So every single box will have some cost associated with this packaging part. Then there can be some cost of loading, unloading. There can be some, let's say, if one warehouse is having some sort of fleet means like the transportation vehicle, and that would want like one vehicle, one truck can carry 100 cartons or 100 packages. What if you say, I want to send only 50 package? Then your transportation cost become double, right? Or maybe some provider is giving you option. If you go with a full load of the truck, I'm going to give you some discounted rate. But if you're going with a half load of truck, I'm going to give you, let's say, not discounted, but a flat rate or a normal rate, a standard rate, right? So those kind of things can come up. Fuel surcharges can come up, and so on. So we should have a track of cost for each of these warehouse, each of these fulfillment center as well. And finally, the transportation part. So for example, if a truck supposed to travel maybe 1,000 miles, for example, so how much does it cost in terms of repair, maintenance, those kind of things, in terms of duties, in terms of taxes, toll tax, and all such? Plus, how much is the per mile cost for the fuel part? Right. So this is how we have to distribute things in a right way. How this can be achieved? This whole automation is going to be built in top of or maybe enabled by something called Google Maps API. And Google Map called like various API, but two which we are going to use is called geocoding API, which can get us latitude and longitude of any given location, right? Any address across the globe, even a zip code or based upon a particular address line, it can get us things there. Second is we have another API called distance metrics, and distance metrics can be done in various ways. So you say, for example, distance from Delhi to Mumbai in terms of airway. Second can be in terms of if you walk, in terms of if you drive, right? So multiple options are available over here. If you go even inside this map, you get to see the best route by driving, by two-wheeler, by transit, by let's say walking, or by flights, right? So either of these are options are available, and we can choose any one of them by using APIs, right? So we'll go most of the time by the driving part because trucks or any of the road transport is being driven through, right? So this is the metrics API which pick up latitude, longitude, and it help us to calculate distance between the two destinations. Now, two route points. And now at the last, along with the distance, it also give us the time to cover the distance. So if let's say some truckload goes on from Delhi to Mumbai non-stop, it's going to take 25 hours. If it takes some, let's say some breaks, 8 hours continuous running and then so on, we can add those kind of logics condition as well. And system may say, if a driver is going to drive only 10 hours a day, how many days it's going to take, right? So those kind of logical calculations can also be done by the agent. And obviously for now, we'll keep all this data into a single source that's called Google Sheet. So Google Sheet APIs also has to be connected with this entire agentic stuff. Now, a few decision logic which this agent supposed to have. First of all, it should get the basic input or maybe some sort of product information from the person who's trying to query, as well as it should also get what is the delivery and what is the pickup point. right? And maybe some information about the profit margins you want to calculate, or let's say some condition to accept or reject this order to find out whether it's in profit or in loss. Second is we should have some sort of data being connected with this agent. So obviously warehouse data, inventory data that we discussed in past, in previous. Then we are going to use, since we may not have the geocoding or latitude, longitude for each customer delivery address, we can directly give an address. So that kind of tool is also required for this particular agent to pick up that long. Distance calculations there, fulfillment conditions can also be there. We can calculate all the cost, as well as we can compare the rank or the fulfillment sequence, which store or particular distribution hub is going to do this delivery. Let's say preference 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. In case if we do not have entire fulfillment can be done by one single source, then we can involve multiple sources, and we can also put their ranking, like first pick goods from here, second from there, and so on, right? And finally, we are asking this agent to also generate some sort of recommendation that how this entire scenario should be handled, and how do you give us recommendation in terms of this. Now, in terms of cost calculation, I provided some parameters which are pretty standard in terms of logistics or warehousing industry. Something called packaging cost, which can be defined on per unit level. So every unit has to be packed up. Second is processing cost. As I said, a clerk has to involve. It's a kind of semi-variable cost, does not involve directly with the number of quantities, but that can also be picked up. Then we have transportation cost, which is along with, it's called the full loaded fleet, or maybe a half loaded truck, right? Or not a full loaded truck kind of things, right? So how much we are going to pay for this transportation cost in terms of full load or the partial load. Then loading, unloading is also going to be a cost altogether. And then the overall scenario cost, how much it's going to do for the fulfillment. It's an example I'll walk you through anyways. Benefits are fine. Technology stack is also fine. So let's try to build this into a full length structure. So what I did actually, I tried creating a Google Sheet, which I could show you over here. Now, whatever we spoke so far, everything is available inside this Google Sheet. See here. First of all, we have a warehouse master where we have warehouse IDs, warehouse name, their location, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata. Addresses are given over here, Sector 63, Noida, Navi Mumbai, some sort of industrial state in Chennai, and Newtown, whatever this, right? Their zip code, their latitude, longitude, and they are active or not active, right? Then secondly, so this is just a master, right? Second is we have inventory master. It is nothing but an inventory report. So where our inventory is and on which warehouse, how much stock we have. So for example, you see here, we have SKU 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, different product, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and so on. Then we have warehouse 1 got a stock of 3,500 units for alpha. Warehouse 2 has 2,800 stocks, and so on. And how much is the unit cost for each of these product, right? And when this was last updated. So maybe a long back or something like this. That's all fine. I can even make it, let's say 2025, 7th December, and all look, maybe it all looks good until this point. Then we got a couple of cost parameters is something we should provide because cost can vary upon the location as well. So as I said earlier, we have packaging cost, we have base processing cost, we have per unit, per 1,000 unit processing cost, transportation per kilometer cost, and so on, right? So loading, unloading, and everything. So for Delhi warehouse, this is the cost structure. For Mumbai, this is the cost structure. Chennai, Kolkata, and so on. And even the units are also given. So how much does it cost per unit? 5 rupees per unit for the packaging part. It's a standard all across. But in terms of, let's say, base processing cost, it is 500 here for every single order, which is a fixed per shipment. Clerk or someone else's cost, administrative cost, 600, 550, and 500, and so on. Even for the transportation per mile or per kilometer, it's charging, let's say, someone we are hiring from Delhi has 12, 14, 13, and 12, and so on. Right. So these are part of cost combination, and it not limited to this. You can add plenty of whatever like more and more you want. Now, in terms of the distance, let's say these truck load or the transportation vehicle, they themselves will have some cost in terms of the running cost. So let's say someone has to go from up to 50 kilometers. How much they charge? With a full load, they are charging 8 rupees per kilometer versus if it is going with a, let's say, partial load, they are charging us 12 rupees per kilometer. And at least there's a minimum charge of 1,500 and so on. So interstate long, interstate short, these kind of structure can be built, can be being built, and different kilometer range can be over here. This applies almost everywhere. Even if you hire a taxi or any commercial vehicle, you get to see these kind of rates and a minimum charge on a daily basis, or at least on the project basis, right? And finally, we can have an order table. So if we say, yes, I am confirming that I'll take this particular order, then order is supposed to be picked up and will be parked over here, right, in an order table. So we have to decide whether we are going with any order processing or not, or accepting any order or not. Right now, let's try to have a quick look at the instruction for this agent as well. Let me try to show you something. Whatever we spoke so far, I simply converted this entire thing into a proper instructions. So I said you are a delivery time prediction agent or kind of a cost prediction agent for this particular e-commerce company. And it's supposed to have a couple of things like traffic, historical traffic, warehouse processing time, delivery availability, driver availability, and so on. Input, I'm going, not input actually, not order ID. So a little mess around here and there. But what I said, it's supposed to have couple of things. Maybe, sorry, I picked up a wrong prompt altogether. Guys, give me 1 second. So it's supposed to be a plain prompt, which I say your job is to calculate the whole matrix distance and get me the fulfillment. Okay, it's here. My bad. This was the another agent that I was trying to build. So you're a warehouse fulfillment agent, and you got 4 warehouses: Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata. Primary objective is to analyze the order detail, recommend the most profitable warehouse fulfillment strategy by calculating cost, comparing scenarios, and ensuring profit margins. Right? It got a couple of tools available. So with the geocoding API for that long, distance metrics, and the calculator for calculations. And all along with this Google Sheet for all of this base data, which we saw earlier. Now, how to follow this process? So agent supposed to pick up all the order related information, let's say SKU, order quantity, delivery pen, and everything. And even if I require any profit margin, I can say I want at least 20% margin on this particular order processing. Tell me the overall cost along with the profit margin, how much I should pitch with the customer. So I'll say fetch warehouse inventory data, like obviously pick up, do the geocode along with this traffic calculation, and try to figure out whether this order can be fulfilled with a single warehouse alone, or should I involve multiple warehouses to fulfill this, right? I can even restrict it not more than 2 warehouse, not more than 3 warehouse, and so on. Then further on, we have calculate cost for each scenario. It's supposed to pick up cost for packaging, processing, and all such. We already discussed them. And ranking by the most profitable or by the less cost at all, right? So this is how it's supposed to work. So with all of these things, let's get started. And I would like to quickly showcase you one of the good agent over here. This can be very helpful, and this applies to any optimization problem. So this particular statement or this particular scenario is called optimization problems, and we can full like cover any optimization problem with this, right? So create workflow, and let's get started. So here I'll go with a normal chat variable, sorry, chat trigger. Even make it public is fine. We have things here. Let's get it tested. So great, it's getting triggered. Fine. Now I can have an AI agent right here itself, and this AI agent can be smart, logistic, something like this. I got this whole thing. Now I can provide prompt to this agent over here. So I'll say system message, and prompt is nothing big or nothing new as such. We are just defining our methodology, how this agent is supposed to work. So let's go here. I got this whole prompt structure done, and we are good with this. Right. No need to define any specific output because it's a chat message or chat conversation. So it's anyways going to respond everything back in the same chat manner. Now this agent require a few things: chat model, calculator, memory, and the tool. So I'll go here and I'll say OpenAI by default can become my chat model. It's an SLM. Mini is more than fine. Then I would have a memory, which can be simple memory because I'm going to chat with this particular thing. So memory should be there. I could have made it like 10 context window is fine. Then now it comes to the tool part. Now in terms of tools, first of all, I would like to give it a calculation tool. It's called calculator, and this can be added so it can perform better calculations because optimization problems generally require good amount of back and forth calculation, and it's supposed to remain or retain all the variables as well. So let's go with this. No configuration required. It's fairly straightforward. Now, along with this, I would like to give it the Google Sheets or my database. So let's have a Sheets over here, and I'll say, let's go to this one. Get raw. Obviously, I want to read data from my smart logistic AI, and I'll say read the warehouse data because it would require latitude, longitude kind of things, right? So I'll say get warehouse master data, something like this is my first node in terms of databases. Second, again, either I can go with this way, click on sheet and run through again, or in an easier way, I could go here and duplicate this, right? So I don't have to reconfigure everything again and again. It's a little smart way of working, but you can choose how you would want. I can double click. Everything is already stored here. I simply have to go and change inventory master. And here I could say inventory master data comes from here. I could simply control D or command D. I can make another copy. So even you don't have to click up to that level. Then I would go here and I'll say cost parameters and I'll say, here's my cost parameter, right? Then further down, I will have to have another sheet which was connected. Okay, let's duplicate one more time. Transportation rate card. So I'll go here, I'll say transportation rate card data. All of these are on the read mode. So we just have to fetch information to figure out the right calculations. Now, one last tool we are going to add that is about creating an order into this order book. If everything goes good, if we see we are having profits or let's say some sort of good order, then we will pick it. Otherwise, we'll say do not create any orders. So in this case, the last module, Control D is coming up here. I could add thing. And instead of get row, I'll say append row. And append row where? On order calculation log. And here everything comes in. So I'll say order, let AI agent decide all of these things. Simple clicks and AI agent is going to do each of these filling up. And this is not supposed to be, it's supposed to be said, create new order record, something like this. Now let's align everything back. So we got all of our tools in place. Let's have a better view of this like this. Now, what we're missing, see, this agent will not be able to do this Google map part because AI agents have their own limitations. They need tool to do things. What I could do, I can go to Google Cloud Console. If you all remember, we did multiple times. We can enable APIs from there. And now with this Cloud Console, I have my own account with billing enabled. Always remember, it should have billings enabled. I'll go to this one and I'll say, let's go to API and services and enable API. Now within this, there are different type of APIs available. You all know from various Google products. So I'll say click on enable API and run down to this. Even the first thing is coming as maps, right? Then machine learning, and then plenty of workspace, Gmail, and everything. What we are concerned now is something called maps. And within maps, there are plenty of different map APIs. Almost 34 of them are available. So let's click on view all and see here. What it says, map embedding, we don't want that. Map tiles, we don't want that. 2D, 3D visualization. Geocoding, convert addresses between address and geographic coordinates. This is what we want. Geocoding is important because this will help us to convert a client address. I'll say in Kandivali, Mumbai. It will convert that into a latitude and longitude, which is very much essential to have this distance calculated. So I'll go here and I'll say geocoding is important. I want to pick it. And I can enable this API. So by default, there is an enable button. If you click on that, it will ask you to like get into billing section, enable billing, put your cards, and then this API will go to give you the API key. Then further down, it says places, display Google Map places on any map with few lines of code, not required. Map static not required. Navigation is not needed. Detailed information about 100 million places, we don't need that. Aerial view, not needed. There are plenty of different view-based APIs, which generally apps like Uber, Ola, they have. So they configure these APIs to have a visualization of maps. But what we want is, see, not even place aggregator, not distance metrics API. It says travel time and distance for multiple destination. This is important. This is what we want. So let's click on this as well. And let's go here. This also we have to enable. And once we enable this, we will also get API key and the whole thing. And all along with this, there is a documentation of these APIs. So let's go and click on this documentation. Or you can even ask this thing with the Claude or something. They can also get you the proper things. Right. So let's say dismiss. Where is it? Distance. Or maybe let's try it here itself. I took help from Claude, but let's HTML. And it's supposed to get us, see here. What it says, the source or this whole script should start with this. Something called HTTPS maps googleapi.com maps/API JS. And then this is your API key, right? Further down, it has a couple of more variables, weekly and all. But what we want is over here, we want until this point, which says Google Maps map API.js. Right. So this is something we are going to pick from our system. That is level 1 in terms of two things, distance metrics API. Right. So see here, let me 1 second. in terms of distance metrics, do we have to have any specific endpoint? Let's see. It is actually to enable this distance part, not page summary as such. Chat. Okay, chat about this page. How to configure the distance calculation API in HTTP module in E10. It may give us some answer, and that's a really good thing. No, you don't have to no longer break your head just trying to figure out how this API is going to work. Okay, so what it says, so little small. Enable API is done, HTTP node is done. Say it's a GET request, and GET request supposed to have maps distance metrics.json. So this is, we can pick everything until this point. You will need, okay, several parameters. What are the parameters? Parameter says origin, and origin supposed to be either a place ID or some sort of a address or let long. And we have distance, sorry, destination. This is also key. The API key, the travel mode, which is driving, walking, bicycling, or transit. And then unit is like metric, imperial, all. Then further down, we have a couple of things. Okay, perfect. Looks good. So what we can do, we have first of all copied this entire thing from here until this point. Let's take it to N10. And in this case, we are going to add one tool. The tool is called HTTP request because I think Google Maps is not available directly over here as a native thing. No, it's not there. So we are going to use an API endpoint for HTTP. I could go here and I'll say, this is my first thing, right? Second part is I'll have to send some query parameters. Now, what is a query parameter? The same thing what Google said to us. You have to define parameters. First of all is the origin from where this is going to start. So I'll say origins and I'll say let AI decide this. Second part, the destinations. I'll go back and I'll say let AI decide the destination as well. Then further down, we have key, obviously API key, we supposed to do it. So I actually generated an API key, which is available with me. Let me try this and I should, perfect. I have this API key with me. I can simply copy and paste over here. Then at last, it says, what is your mode of driving or traveling mode? So I'll say travel mode is equal to, in my case, it's going to be always driving. So default is driving anyways, but I'll say driving explicitly. So I'm going to go with this. And unit system or something, I'll not change them at all. Let's try to execute. And I'll say from Gandhi Valley, Mumbai to New Delhi, maybe Rajpath, New Delhi. Let's see if it works or not. Perfect, it's working. And what it says, with this total, it has distance of 1370 kilometers, and it's going to take 23 hours, 25 minutes, right? Let's try to even check this over here. So on the flip side, I'll say Gandhi Valley, Mumbai to Rajpath, Delhi. Okay, 1373 kilometers in total by driving and 23 hours, 18 minutes over here. Let's try to compare this. 1370, 3 kilometers here and there, 23 hours, 25 minutes. That means approximately matching, right? Only hardly 3-5 kilometers here and there. But this API is working fine. So our agent got a tool which says distance and time calculation tool, something like this, right? And I think we are sorted. That's it, what we wanted. Let's enable this automation workflow and let's try to get this into a new window altogether. I'll go and bring this chat here and I'll say, it says, hi, how can I assist you? I say, hey, I got an order for fulfilling or let's say selling product alpha for 2000 units and delivery supposed to happen in Jaipur, Rajasthan. Can you tell me what can be the total cost and also help me add 20% margin? So I give me the final price along with the whole transportation cost and the profit. I did not say from which warehouse you should fulfill this. So I am selling product alpha 2000 units. Jaipur, Rajasthan is the delivery place. Tell me the total cost and add 20% margin and do everything. Let's see how it goes. Behind the scene, it's supposed to run this agent. An agent should get me things. And ideally, this should be fulfilled from Delhi warehouse because Delhi and Rajasthan is nearby. Perfect. So over here, we have a couple of things. What it says, here's the analysis of fulfilling a total 2000 units of product alpha to Jaipur. Inventory availability, all of these warehouses have enough inventory to fulfill this order of 2000 things, right? What is the distance? From Delhi, 293. The rest everything have almost more than 1000 kilometers from Chennai, Mumbai, and Kolkata. Then further down, what are the cost parameter for Delhi warehouse? This is the costing. Calculation for Delhi because it chose Delhi, packaging, processing, transportation, along with all detailed calculation, like greater than 50 kilometers supposed to be 12 rupees per kilometer, 8% fuel charge, and so on. Total packaging is going to be something like this. Then financials, currently the unit cost is about 250 rupees. Total cost of units is going to be for 2000 15,000 this much. Customer price, like 20% margin I said. So 250 rupees is the base cost or the selling price. 2000 units, 1.2 is the multiplier, and total 6 lakh rupees. Profit from having this overall thing, I could achieve this much profit and so on. I think it took it a little wrong way. I said add 20% profit markup, but somehow there is a price also available in this inventory. It's called unit cost. Maybe let me do one thing. I think you should consider the cost of units as well and give me the final price that I can pitch to the end customer. It's supposed to be the unit cost plus the all transportation cost and the 20% margin on top of it. Now, since we have our context window enabled, the memory enabled, so now it's going to run through the whole previous thing. Okay, perfect. So here is our things. Total 5 lakh rupees to fulfill this thing. Other cost from Delhi warehouse. Total cost over here, 15,000 rupees. Total cost is 5 lakh 15,000 rupees. And then it says if I'm adding 20% margin, it's supposed to be 6 lakh 18,000 rupees overall. So my total profit will come out to 515 minus 618 is in rupees term 1 lakh 3,000 rupees, right? Or cost plus 20%, or on the overall sales, it becomes 16%, right? On the reverse calculation. And the final recommendation, fulfill from Delhi warehouse. This is the breakup of everything. Now I'll say, okay, please create an order for this into the order book. So it's supposed to get me an order over here in the order book. Done. See here, order Alpha 2000 Jaipur 001. SKU ID is this. Customer pricing is this. Selected warehouse is Delhi warehouse. Order is confirmed. Now if I go back and I'll say, I'll just remove both of them not to get confused. Inventory is, let's say gamma is available. Total, maybe delta is available 8,500 quantities in total. I would say I would like to fulfill 9,000 quantities in Ahmedabad. Let's see what happens. Okay, I got another new order, which has to be delivered into GIDC complex Ahmedabad, and they are looking for total 9,000 units. Can we fulfill that? What can the cost? And I also say something. The customer is offering about 1 lakh rupees for this entire order. Should I take it or not? Let's see. So GIDC is Gujarat Industrial Development Corporation, and it's a good industrial area inside Ahmedabad. And even this time, we did not say what margin or what profit we're adding. We simply said this particular customer is offering us only 1 lakh rupees as a cost, as a total price. So shall we take this order or not? Right. So see here. Now, what it says total 9,000, 3,500 and so on. Total available is 12,000 units. Did it? Bad. I did not say Delta product. I simply said I got a new order and it simply took it for Alpha, which was already happening. So I supposed to have said I'm getting order for Delta, but at least let's see. It's about 9,000 for the Alpha. We'll do it for the Delta as well. It has all the units are available. Total available is 12,000, which is over here, the total 1,000 units of Alpha. Now it went and said distance from various locations to Ahmedabad. Delhi is this much, Mumbai is this much, Chennai and Kolkata. And cost parameters goes like this. So Delhi warehouse fulfill, let's say this much cost, Mumbai is this, and so on. So if Delhi warehouse has to fulfill, it's going to take approximately total transportation of 12,000, packaging, processing, subtotal goes to 32,000 from Delhi for 3,500 units. Mumbai is getting this much, Chennai is getting this much, and so on. So total warehouses cost is 98,000. Unit cost of 250 is like this much. Total 23 lakh rupees. Whereas customer says only 1 lakh rupees. That means this is way far below the cost. And then it says no, it's not going to even cover this. Significant losses. And do you want to achieve any sort of pricing strategy and all? So recommendation is decline or renegotiate the pricing minimum close to for the breakdown part, right? Now let's go and try the same thing with, I'll say, for the product delta. Exactly same thing. I just changed the product name. That's it. It should ideally tell me that, okay, this particular product is not even available. So we cannot fulfill this without maybe getting into further down the cost or 1 lakh rupees comparison and all. Let's see how it goes. See, it's a fairly straightforward answer. It did not went to any calculation, simply said insufficient to fulfill 9,000 units, right? since all the stocks are available, so and so, we cannot fulfill this suggestion, inform customer, and so. Now, okay, I'll say, can we do 7,000 units for now for this customer? And just tell me what can be the average time to reach to his location. He's looking for a delivery within next 2 days, and he's good to pay some premium prices. So, do we have any other option, or can we do it in 2 days' time? And just tell me uh, how much should I charge to this customer? All along with this, other competitors are giving it the same thing for about 25 lakh rupees in total for this whole fulfillment. So can we match that? Not 25, I'll say 15 lakh. I'm not sure how much this will be costing total, but let's see. So two, three questions altogether with this agent in combine. So now we change quantity to 7,000. The location remains same, the product remains same, but now we are talking about delivery part. Perfect. See here what it did. Product delta fulfilling 7,000 units to GIDC complex Ahmedabad, inventory check, partial fulfillment will require from all of these different things, but it is enough. We have 8,500, enough for 7,000 units all. Now from Delhi, it is going to take 15 hours, Mumbai 10 hours, Chennai 1 day 8 hours, and Kolkata 1 day 13 hours. Right. So this much is the distance from delivery within 2 days is feasible from Mumbai and Delhi warehouses. Kolkata and Chennai are broader line, exceeding 2 days in normal road transportation. If aiming for expedite delivery, premium pricing are like for shorter transit time. Cost calculation for 7,000 units distributed from Delhi, Mumbai, all remaining like 5,200 for time delivery and so on. So here, cost for Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, unit cost, so and so, pricing offered by competitors. We can match this pricing because I think our cost is getting only 11 lakh rupees versus competitors giving 15 lakhs. So it's like it's a almost 3,89,000 rupees profit, 25% above standard 20%. So we can go with this. A couple of things that combined over here. Final recommendation, something like this. So I hope you got it. Like the whole idea to make this optimization problem a little more smoother. And if we apply a more better brain to it, it can do wonders, right? So that's there. And this is one of the optimization problem. I'll tell you. So we worked on almost 2 years back. AI agent was not there. It was a very hard project to do. So when you see any vehicle like motorbikes, primarily motorbike, scooty, Activa, these kind of things, right? Two wheelers. So there is a company in Mumbai, and they have some plant in Nasik, Aurangabad, and all. So they have a very good optimization problem. They said we are printing stickers for these vehicle, and anyone, let's say it's TVS, it's Bajaj, it's Hero Honda, or something else, they all come to us and they give us printing job. So if you realize, those stickers are long last. So even if your bike will go to scrap, still that sticker will be there, right? Those on the fuel tank, on the front bumper, back bumpers, and all. So even their logo and everything, they are getting printed by this company. And what's that? What they said? We get order from different vendors. Print me these many stickers for this particular part. So someone says fuel tank, I want 5,000 for fuel tank, 7,000 for front bumper, 7,000 for back bumper, and so on. Now they have a sheet, a printing sheet kind of A3 paper, which is called Phantom in their name, in their industry. So like I had to put one Phantom, and then I had to define if I'm getting, let's say, a total 50,000 stickers to be printed with different combinations, everyone will have its own dimension. So how can I optimize this whole printing where it wastes a little less paper, or like less or less phantoms, right? So give me the best ideal combination. And even after they deployed one full-time headcount, one full person who knows this process, this optimization, everything, still they were wasting about 20-30% of the whole papers or those phantoms. Now they came to us and we wrote them a full Python code, very complex things here and there, used couple of algorithms and so other things, and tried to optimize. So this waste came down almost 50%, right? But it's still not very much optimized. But what if today I can use this AI agentic part, maybe with some more good tools, with more good algorithms, and say, use this algorithm and get me the best calculation or best combination of printing these stickers on phantoms, right? Very good use case. And that was wasting them almost 2 crore rupees or more than that kind of those phantom sheets every single year. So imagine like, and that was so frustrated. That person who was at printing in charge, a director of this firm, was just frustrated with this problem. So many different use cases can come to mind about optimization where people have to bang their head, and AI can do at least good decision making support. Not take decisions, but a good decision making support.